I call this meeting to order the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders Thursday, August 13th, 2020 agenda setting meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson.
Here.
Freeholder Granados.
Here.
Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Here.
Freeholder Staton.
Here.
Freeholder Williams.
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Present.
Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 9 freeholders present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can you please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, while we're all putting our cameras back on, Mr. Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Good evening and welcome to another remote meeting of the Freeholder Board in Union County. As is our custom, I'd like to thank all the people of Union County who are looking out for each other and taking care of each other during this COVID-19 outbreak. All of us have been traveling a very long road, but none of us are traveling alone. We're standing together, we're working together. I'm so grateful and proud on the part of the Union County community for what they're doing during this time of this crisis. With all that, here are some updates on the county's activities over the last several weeks. And just a quick reminder that you can get details on all these services, anything that the county is providing at the county website at ucnj.org. Our food distribution events continue, and I'd like to thank all the volunteers, all the freeholders who have made time to be there, the partner agencies and corporate donors for joining hands and helping those in need. Union County's free COVID-19 test center at Kane University passed a milestone this past week. The test center completed 100 days in operation and conducted more than 40,000 tests for residents, essential employees, and first responders. I'd like to remind residents that Union County maintains a mobile COVID-19 test center. The mobile test center brings professional health division staff to local communities to provide COVID-19 tests for seniors and other vulnerable population groups at locations throughout our county. The mobile unit has conducted more than 2,000 tests so far. Now we're offering this service to the general public as well. We want to reach out to all Union County residents who need a test wherever they are, regardless of whether you have access to a car or not. So far, we've set up mobile test sites in Plainfield, Union Township, Elizabeth, and Winfield. It will also visit Elizabeth again this Saturday, and it will be in Westfield next Thursday. If you are a municipal agency or nonprofit group, please call the mobile test unit to request a visit to your community. While we're on the topic of tests, I urge everyone in Union County, in our family, to help contact tracers do their jobs. Their job is to help you protect yourself, your family, your friends, neighbors, and anyone else who's at risk of infection. They will help you find out if you've been in contact with anyone who was tested positive, and they will help you to decide if you need to be tested. Again, they are here to help. So please, if you get a call from a contact tracer, stay on the phone. Do your part to keep our community safe. The outbreak has wreaked havoc on our small business community, and it has across our county and across our country. To help our small businesses weather this crisis, we've been putting federal CARES dollars through the CARES Act to work. On July 9th, this board authorized $2 million in assistance for small businesses through the CARES Act. We received 750 applications, and due to the overwhelming response, we doubled that amount to $4 million. The additional funds will help us to protect certified women, minority, veteran, LGBTQ, and disabled-owned businesses as well. We set aside $4 million of the CARES Act to assist local school districts with planning, with their planning and their COVID prevention. And funding from CARES Act will enable us to expand the county's grant programs for local libraries to protect them and their patrons. Turning now to county services, I'm very pleased to report that we are now in the process of accepting applications from our municipalities for 2 grant programs this summer: Kids Recreation and Greening Union County, which is for trees, both of these programs. These programs are funded through the Union County Open Space, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund. The trust fund has provided our residents with recreational improvements, new trees, and many other civic benefits throughout the many years, and it will continue to serve our communities during this outbreak. We have also launched the Local Arts Grant and Re-Grant programs for 2020. These programs, which are funded through the state of New Jersey, provide assistance for art, culture, and history organizations throughout Union County. Finally, I'd like to remind everyone who calls Union County home that the 2020 census is still underway. The census determines our federal dollars and where it goes to roads, bridges, and more. The census determines our representation numbers in Congress. Yes, you can respond to the census right now if you haven't already by visiting their website, census.gov. It takes only a couple of minutes and you answer just a few basic questions online. It will make an enormous difference for many years to come. Before we get on to tonight's meeting, I want to affirm in the strongest possible terms our support for the Black Lives Matter movement. This movement continues to earn widespread public support in Union County and across our state of New Jersey. Thousands of our residents have advocated peacefully for reform under the Black Lives Matter banner and under the protection of the Constitution of the United States of America as well. In support of these efforts, the county has sponsored 2 Black Lives Matter street murals in Roselle and in Hillside. We hope that this symbol will provide an enduring reminder to our nation that we are still a work in progress. We have a long way to go, and we can continue to fulfill the promise of equal justice and equal rights for all our residents written in the Declaration of Independence. We see that we need real progress in our lifetime, and we're putting that to work. So thank you for this board's support, and I appreciate everyone's support in this matter. I understand that the mural is underway in Roselle and will be in Hillside very shortly, within the next day even. So that's a good thing. Okay, we're going to move on to the approval. We will have the approval of communications later in the regular meeting following this agenda setting meeting. And we're going to start with our directors. I want to start with the Department of Administrative Services and Director Scutari.
Good evening. The Department of Administrative Services has 5 resolutions on the agenda, and I'll try to answer any questions.
Okay, let me put my participant thing up here and I can check out our hands if anybody has hands up. I see Freeholder Granados. Freeholder, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Director, just in reference to number 1, what are the possible savings coming from that?
So this is the resolution that we started 3 years ago, and this is the option to renew for another 24 months. There are Medicare and disability monitoring services. So it's actually broken down to 3 phases. There's a discovery phase where they find employees and family members who should be on Medicare but are currently on our health plan. So if they find someone, it cost us $1,600, and over the last 3 years, they found 11. Then they go and look at these people and see if there's any money owed to the county from Medicare. And if they find money, it gets reimbursed, and we pay 30% of their findings. And then the third is the development phase, where they continue to look at new and existing retirees to see if they should be on Social Security. And they found 3 of those, and that cost $3,500 per person. So in total, between paying out and getting money back from Medicare, we saved $28,163.58.
Okay. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. Anything else from our colleagues? No? Okay, I don't see any other hand. All right, we're going to move on to the Department of Economic Development and Deputy County Manager Wagner.
Good evening, freeholders. The Department of Economic Development has 3 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I see Freeholder Granados, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Just Deputy County Manager, in reference to number 1, if you can just provide more information. I know it's something that our Freeholder Board, working alongside Economic Development, is pushing forward to help out our residents. So if you can just give more information on that.
Absolutely. What this resolution does is it amends our annual plan for CDBG and ESG funding from the federal government. We received over $6 million in additional CARES funds. And what we are going to do, the Department of Economic Development, will work alongside the Department of Human Services to start a rental assistance program. The ESG dollars, which are controlled under the Department of Human Services, provides assistance to people who are very low income up to low income, and the CDBG dollars go up to moderate income. So you all have to actually hopefully approve this, and then it goes to HUD with what our plan is, what we hope to do under this program. And then from there, we will start the program. We'll be funding organizations that we currently work with that do rental assistance programs, that are familiar with the rules and regulations governed by HUD. We know that there's a tremendous need. And this program will not only help tenants, but it also will help our landlords that are really struggling, because many of them are not receiving any rental payments.
Thank you, Deputy County Manager, and appreciate your leadership alongside Department of Human Services, Debbie Ann Anderson, in making sure that we're helping out those tenants and landlords who really need it during these tough economic times. Thank you, Chairman.
Yep, thank you for the question, Freeholder Granados. That's I was going to ask a similar question, and yeah, it certainly gets the money to the people who need it the most amongst us. I see Freeholder Williams has her hand up. Freeholder, please.
Thank you, Chairman. My question, Deputy Director, is Deputy County Manager, is about number 2, the funding for Elmwood LLC. If you could explain a little bit more about that. I'm also most interested in what is the timeline and what other background do you have on this project?
Okay, I'd be happy to answer that. This project is partially funded through Home Investment Partnership dollars. These particular dollars were part of a recapture from the Center for Hope Hospice project. They were not compliant with the Home Investment Partnership rules and could not become compliant. Just there's a myriad of reasons why they couldn't follow the regs. So they elected to repay those funds. So under HUD guidance, the funds that are recaptured in this case have to go out first. So that's why this $500,000 is going out. This particular project is 58 units of affordable housing. 5 of those units will be funded through the Home Investment Partnership dollars. It's really a great project. It was a large complex, Elmwood Gardens, a number of years ago. It fell into very bad disrepair, and they were able to tear down the old units. They're going to build more, not as many as what were there before. I know we've been working very, very, very vigilantly to get this project moving. There were a few little issues with some things that happened prior to getting to where we are today. We fortunately resolved all of those. And I believe we'll have a groundbreaking in the very near future. I do not have a date for you though.
Okay, yeah, the reason I ask is because, yes, I'm very familiar with that history, and I think I was still in my first term as a local council person when they tore this project down. So now we're sitting here like 7 years later, and I pass by it a couple of times a week, and I see nothing happening. So I'd appreciate it if, if you can find out from them, when a groundbreaking and also completion date is for that project, because it's just been so many years. I think it's a good project, but it would be nice to see it really started. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a tax credit project, which is part of the problem because some years they have them, some years they don't. So they were waiting for information on them because they had to leverage a lot of funding in order to build it. So that was part of it. They were really ready to go. And then we found out that they didn't meet one of the requirements of CDBG, which helped tear down the original.
Right.
So we had to go backwards and remedy that situation, which thankfully we finally have done. So that's why we can fund it. And I really, I've had a number of conversations with the mayor and members of his staff. I know they are all very anxious to see this started. So I'll double check and get back to you on a date.
Thank you. And then Chairman, I just had one quick question about number 3. If Deputy County Manager could just give a little bit more detail on that with regard to the merger.
Okay, absolutely. So this is a project that was funded by, we provided funding, again, Home Investment Partnership dollars funds to Habitat of Plainfield and Middlesex County. They've run into some issues, been unable to sustain themselves. It used to just be Plainfield, then they merged with Middlesex, and now Morris is taking them over. Morris is actually a very vibrant organization, and I think it's going to be a really good asset to Union County because they have a much greater capability of actually getting projects done. So this is actually a good move. So what this resolution does is it transfers this funding that was issued in 2017 over now to Morris to facilitate the takeover of the habitats and joining them together. One unit has been built, the other unit is coming. As you know, with habitat projects, the potential owners have to put in a certain amount of sweat equity. It's not just here's the money, they have to really work for it. So these are typically really good projects. So we're excited that we're going to be working with someone that has a better capacity to make sure these projects get undertaken.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Chairman. That's all from me.
Thank you, Freeholder. We'll move to Freeholder Mudet.
Thank you, Chair. Just in terms of number 1, I know that it is a long process after tonight if it is approved by our board, but what is the timeline that you expect for this resolution?
Okay, so if you vote yes, tomorrow we will send it to HUD for their review. They have between 5 and 10 days. That's what it's typically taken to review the process and say go or no go. We've decided to go with organizations that already do this work, so we don't have to build something out on our own to manage through it. We have people that do this. This is their job. They know what they're doing. They know all the rules and regs. So we feel like we can get this going pretty quickly.
That's great. I know it's a much needed aspect of our environment right now. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrett, I did see your hand up, then I saw it come down. Do you have any questions, or did something get answered with a previous question? Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Seeing no more questions, thank you, Deputy County Manager Wagner.
You're welcome.
We will move on to the Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities Management, and Director Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman, Freeholders. the department has 3 resolutions on tonight for your consideration, and I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Okay, very good. I will look for hands while I'm looking at this topics to refresh my memory. I don't see any hands, but Director, can you go into a little bit of detail on this award on number 2, please?
Sure, the East Hazelwood Avenue Bridge
Yeah.
in Rowa, yeah, no problem. Yeah, that was a public bid. Went out to TR Weiniger of Piscataway. So what they're going to do, they're going to replace the this bridge is scour critical. It's called scour critical, so they can work under traffic, so the bridge will never have to be closed. They have to replace the or they have to add what's called ACBM. It's a articulated concrete block matting, which goes underneath the stream bed, under the bridge. So all that work's going to be done while this is going on. So the footings have been scouring out, so it's a scour critical how the bridge is rated. So all this work is going to be done as part of that project for that bridge for East Hazelwood Avenue.
Okay, good. This might be a very specific question, but I know there's typically a pre-bid estimate. Did this bid that came in, was it close to what we anticipated that it would be? If you know that, if not, you can get back.
Give me 1 second, I might have that information here.
Because I know our engineering, the freeholders may know this as well, but I know there's usually a pre-bid, what they expect the bids to come in at, and then you go out to bid to see in the real world what it actually is. Is it close to what you think it is? And that's the question.
So this actual total bid was 24% underneath what our estimate was.
Okay, well, that's good news.
Which is good news. The high bid, there was 3 bids in this case, $510,000, $560,000 roughly. Then the highest bid was $714,000, and that was obviously above our estimate. You have that there, so.
Okay. You're talking about for number 2 or number 1?
I'm talking about for the East Hazelwood Avenue Bridge.
Number 1. Okay, very good.
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked me for number 2? No, you asked me for number 1. Right, I got you. All right.
Very good. Okay, any other questions? I don't see. All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
We'll move to the Department of Finance and Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 4 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Director. We'll go right to Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, Director Taylor. If you can just elaborate on number 4, the cancer control grant. I'm sorry, the comprehensive cancer control grant.
Absolutely. The funding for this grant is $48,205, and it's from the New Jersey Department of Health, and the programmatic funds are to be used to provide community health programs within Union County related to chronic disease conditions such as cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity. So it will be done in a multi-setting with diverse communities and multi-age groups, but for chronic diseases.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's it.
Okay, Freeholder, thank you. Anything else for the Finance Director? All right, thank you, Director.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Department of Human Services and Director Anderson.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. The Department of Human Services has 13 resolutions on, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
You win tonight.
Yes.
Let's stay with Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, Director Anderson. I just have a question on number 9, 2019-964 for Summit Family Promise.
So the Family Promise Program, it's called Shelter Diversion. So it's a program to help families avert eviction and being on the street of becoming homeless. So we started the program last year and did 100,000, but we're increasing it 25,000 additional because of the in-demand need for families going on the street. So I'm asking the board to consider that this evening.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
it for me, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Go to Freeholder Hudak.
Thanks, Chairman. Good evening, Director. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. A couple questions on the resolutions tonight. Two, I just wanted a confirmation. These are, we how many employees do we have that are not in purse that are receiving this 401A benefit rather than the traditional pension plan? Ballpark.
This is, it's about 16, 17.
Yeah, I know. And these are just for whatever reason their job classification, they do not qualify for PERS. And so this is the whole benefit. Okay, thank you, Director. On numbers 4 and number 6, the municipal alliance funding reduction, as well as the Jakarta reduction. So this is just, I'm assuming, a result of the reduction in collection of drug fines due to the pandemic, and they're modifying the budget. Is that why that's happening?
That is correct, Freeholder. There is that no collection of the fees on the drug court, and one contract has had to run for 15 months because it was at middle of March to now, so they extended it 15 months, and the other contract is only going 8 months. So that's where it's the decrease in fine collections and the shift of the contracts, of length of the contracts.
Okay, great. And then just and this might be more just a functional question. I noticed on number 10, the contract for on-time alcohol and drug abuse, there was there's a specific language authorizing the termination of the contract, which is unusual. I don't think I've ever observed that before in the title of a resolution. So I was hoping just to get some color on it as to why it's there.
It is because it is a one-time funding allocation to this to the county, is a new program from the state, and it's so specific that the state wanted to write that in. If that nonprofit partner did not follow the terms, we can terminate and find another vendor. So they asked us to write it in.
Okay, that's fine. It was just unusual for our usual explanation of a resolution. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, Freeholder. We're going to go to Freeholder Williams.
Chairman, the questions I had were the exact questions that Freeholder Hudak had, so no questions. Thank you.
Very good, Freeholder. Thank you. Freeholder Staten, I see your hand is up, but did you not put it down? Okay, that's just fine. All right, anything else, Freeholders? Looks like we're good. All right, Director, thank you. We'll move to the Department of Public Safety and Director Moran.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Department of Public Safety has 3 resolutions on for your consideration. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Okay, Freeholder Hudak, let's stay with you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Director. Just a couple questions relative to number 3, the foam tender training, I guess specific to this one, and then a more general question to follow. Just how many individuals are participating in this training, and where are they from? I know this is a UASI training, so are these individuals, part of our county law enforcement apparatus, or are they coming from outside of the county?
Now, this is fire department training, so it will be 12 different departments from the UASI region, 2 of those being from Union County, Springfield and Elizabeth. Okay.
And when is the, and I guess a general question that pertains to this training, but just training in general, what is the impact on training programs like the foam tender training in the face of the COVID pandemic? Are we, because these are very hands-on specific trainings, many of them involve going out of state to where there's specific training grounds. And, I feel that we've sent officers to Texas and Alabama for training. How is the COVID emergency impacting the training of our officers? Are we in danger of losing any training dollars because people can't fulfill the grant obligations? If you could just give me sort of an overview of what is going on in that context.
Sure, Freeholder. And certainly COVID has affected all aspects of public safety training. Our fire academy delayed its start until we got guidance from the state fire marshals on just what the criteria would be that we had and what policies we had to institute for social distancing and ensuring the safety of our recruits. And UASI training, actually, this was going to be on the agenda for April. We were going to conduct this training. It's been delayed because of COVID, but now we feel that we could do this in a safe manner while the trainees are socially distanced, wearing masks. A lot of times they'll be wearing SCBAs, and so they'll be totally protected. But we're looking at all our training programs. I don't think we're in danger of losing any funding at this time. But if we get another wave of the COVID virus in the fall, it certainly could affect our ability to conduct police academy training, fire academy training, all public safety training would have to be put on hold if there was another spike.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Just in reference to number 1, I see that there's a request for more funding in contact tracing. I know contact tracing is something that's definitely been beneficial to many individuals who test positive and figuring out who around them test positive. So you can just provide more information on that resolution. I'd appreciate it.
Certainly, Freeholder. This funding is very important to us. As the board is well aware, most health departments around the county are traditionally very small and have a tremendous undertaking with this pandemic response, and contact tracing was certainly a huge challenge for our health departments, especially in April and May when we were hitting our peaks. But this funding will support 3 additional full-time employees to our health department and finance them for a 2-year period. This is the first of a 2-year grant. So it will fund a COVID coordinator that will supervise our contact tracers and work with the state and local health departments to make sure that that task is being conducted. It's also funding for an epidemiologist who could collect data and coordinate it in a fashion where we could make useful decisions based on that. And a social support coordinator, which will coordinate other departments and mental health services, for people. It's one of really the one aspect of the pandemic that I don't think we really measured yet is the psychological impact, for our residents. At the testing center, we saw people come through who were very sick and very scared, and they are in need of services. So this grant will help us bring on the personnel to address that.
I think it's definitely beneficial in providing additional services than the county is already providing in reference to COVID. So thank you for bringing this forward and making sure that we provide additional services, especially for those who have who are going through psychological issues due to COVID. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Freeholder. We'll move to Freeholder Bouded is next.
Thank you, Chair. I was going to ask the same thing about number 1, but I'm also very grateful for that opportunity to have the psychological aspect of this pandemic addressed within our county, because it is certainly taken a toll on everyone. So thank you. No other questions.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Director, can you tell us a little bit about our current contact tracing program? What are some of the best practices? I know we're trying to expand it, but what are some of the things we've been doing to date?
Well, As you know, Freeholder, the contact tracing is responsibility of the local health officer. So in Union County, we have 7 different health departments that, provide that service to identify. They use the state database to identify people that test positive and then contact them to get a history of personal contacts that may have been exposed to the virus, and then contact those individuals to give them guidance on quarantining requirements and other health education. We only do local health for 2 municipalities in Union County. However, this Rutgers has provided at this time 11 contact tracers to Union County that could be utilized as an overflow. Certainly, back in early April, local health departments had tremendous amount of work to do with contact tracing. It's not an easy process. It takes time, especially if the person's active and has been meeting with several individuals. It's a very time-consuming and tedious process. So having a cadre of contact tracers that could handle the overflow and assist our local health departments is very important. And myself and the county manager have talked about the need for additional contact tracers. We have an educational component where people can do an online education, and then we could bring them on as contact tracers for the county to handle that overflow when we see the next wave of the pandemic, probably in the fall.
And Director Moran, when you said that we don't handle it because the locals do, but which 2 local ones do we handle?
Berkeley Heights and Hillside.
Okay. So we do work with 2 locals, the 2 partnerships. So thank you. But that was very helpful.
Yes. In addition, we have several bilingual people in our health department who also assist the local health departments if they don't have somebody that is bilingual.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you. Just to add in, Director, into your comments, a major part of the reasoning for those 2 municipalities is because the county provides health officer services for those 2 municipalities under Annie McNair. But while you do work with those 2 municipalities, I know even me coming from Elizabeth, your department and Annie McNair, your health office, have been working with every single municipality and providing additional information, tips, and also providing guidance when need be. So I just want to appreciate and thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, they've been helping each municipality weather this storm. So thank you.
And there might be more municipalities joining the health services. I think the county does a terrific job. Okay, so Freeholder Williams, you have a question.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one quick question, Director. At the this past weekend, for those of you who may not know, the county did testing in Plainfield at one of our larger churches, Mount Olive, actually one of, I guess, our biggest church, or our oldest church in Plainfield. And a couple of people have asked me how many people ended up getting tested that day. Do you have a number?
I don't know off the top of my head. It's about 130, I think, but I'll give you the exact number.
That's a tremendous number. Thank you. I'll get with you later. That's all, Chairman. Thank you.
All right, Freeholder, thank you. Just a quick comment for the board. So we did the police academy graduation. Vice Chairman Estrada joined me for that. It was at the vocational school in front of the police academy, and the fire academy graduation is coming up as well. I believe that's scheduled to be in September for the previously graduating class. They did not have their graduation, but I saw, and Vice Chairman can attest to this. I mean, the way it went was very, very smooth and very good. And the new firefighters deserve a graduation as well. So we are going to plan on something in September. I believe it's the 21st or the 22nd at Oak Ridge. So you freeholders will have more information on that. But that's a good thing that we're doing that. And since the topic of fire academies and police academies came up, I thought I would give some update on that. All right. Anything else? I don't see any more hands raised. Director Moran, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman.
We'll move to the office of the County Council and County Council Bergen.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, freeholders. Office of the County Council has two resolutions. They're really related, but I'll answer any questions if there are any.
Okay, Freeholder Granados, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chairman. I see that we're doubling the amount for the Florio firm in reference to the CARES Act for legal services. Can you provide more information as to the reasoning behind that?
Sure. As with all of our outside counsel, we pay them an hourly rate. They are our expert outside counsel concerning monies that we're getting from the federal government for COVID services. For instance, the grants that are on the agenda tonight are coming out of money from the federal government. And they're giving us advice on how to structure those grants to be in compliance with federal regulations and so on. So as time goes on and we have more COVID-related work, they're doing more work for us. The idea is to put the money in. We haven't spent it yet, but in the anticipation that unfortunately COVID is not done, and hopefully we'll be getting more federal funds, we will need more advice from them as we go on to make sure that we're complying with all the regulations. So when the time comes, the federal government has no problem with the way we've spent the money, allocated it, documented it, and so on.
And like you're mentioning, when it comes to the additional services they're providing, like I know before we had the whole business program, now we're adding the school program. So those are some of the additional type of legal services they're going to be looking at making sure we're in regulation and doing everything according to federal regulations, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Thank you.
I certainly, if the freeholders wish, I can distribute their bills to show exactly what they've done, but essentially that's all they're doing for us, is guiding us through the federal regulations on COVID money.
That's something we might look at in the future in the Finance Committee. Thank you, County Council. Thank you.
Good, yeah, actually, Freeholder Granados, I like your idea of maybe taking that review to the Finance Committee next time you meet. I certainly would like to see the bills and where the energy is kind of going. And I guess my question, Bruce, is might be a strange question, but can the money that's paid to this firm come out of the CARES dollars because they are COVID related?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I was hoping that was the answer. And, that's
Yep, 100%.
All right, very good. All right, any other questions for our county council? All right, Bruce, thank you. Nice work.
Thank you.
We'll move to the office of the county manager, County Manager Oatman.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted, before I go to my items on the agenda, I just want to touch base about the mobile testing that was brought up earlier. We've hit several towns in the county so far. The goal is to try to bring the unit to all 21 in the next coming weeks and month, and probably, for round 2 as the pandemic, as we expect, should be getting worse in the fall and the winter. So we hope to keep moving around and expanding so we could do it several days a week throughout the county. So thank you for indulging me on that. But back to our regular agenda. I have 3 items on tonight's agenda, Chairman, and through you, I'd like to highlight the third one. This is a memorandum of understanding that the board is voting on. There's an agreement between the county and the Union County Improvement Authority that gets the ball rolling toward the construction of a new county government complex on West Grand Street in Elizabeth. Once we formalize this agreement, the next step will be issuance of a RFQ competitive bid for the planning, design, and construction of the complex in conjunction with the UCIA. The plan is to consolidate employees from the current admin building and from 4 other leased facilities throughout Elizabeth into these 2 new buildings. By financing this through the Improvement Authority and the elimination of these leases, the county will save approximately $120 million over the next 30 years in rent payments. So also worth noting, the construction will create jobs as well. So I'll be happy to answer any questions on the 3 items I have before you.
Okay, I'll look for hands if there's any that pop up. Okay, I don't see any hands at this point. Oh, Freeholder Mudet.
Sorry, late one. Just in terms of number 2, County Manager, have those applications been sent out yet to the libraries, or are those still pending?
I'm actually going to defer to that one to Vicky Durbin, who's runs our open space program. She administers the grants, so she could speak more on that for us.
Thanks.
There she is.
Thank you, County Manager, Chairman, and Freeholders. Good evening. If the grant is approved tonight by the Freeholder Board, it will be released tomorrow to the libraries, and it's the 20 public libraries in the County of Union.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
This is good news for our libraries for sure, 100%. Thank you, Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes, can you, Ed, on number 3, could you expand a little bit more on a project that we'll be working on?
Sure. The plan or the hope is to build 2 new buildings over at the West Grand site, which is several blocks over my right shoulder. Right now, the county leases and owns several properties throughout Elizabeth, the Al Bender building, the Alfie Airy building. We also rent space at Parker Road, and we have an office in the Bank of America building, plus where elections and taxation is, which is a building we own. The hope is to build 2 new buildings and consolidate all of county government into one site a couple blocks away from right here.
And what is the anticipated number that we're looking for to finance this?
That'll depend on the bids or that comes back. Part of the beginning process is to send out the proposal and see what kind of bids people come back with and what it will cost. The guesstimate right now is we are looking at about 100 to 125 million to build both these buildings.
But didn't we have some proposals before? Because I know this was not the first time we've heard this. So if there is any information from the first round or the first time that we started thinking about this, can we just circulate that, maybe Chairman or County Manager? That would be great.
Whatever we have, I will send over.
Okay. Good. Ed, thank you for that update. I, for one, am excited we're taking this next step on these buildings, the new admin building. As the county manager points out, we'll be saving significant dollars by rent elimination and consolidation of our services. I think it's a great step for this county and a good step moving forward. I am going to ask Freeholder Muded to take a note because, I created a committee when I became chairman this year, the Facilities Committee, and it had specifically to do with this project. And there is a subcommittee of this Freeholder board. So Freeholder, I'll be talking to you and you can coordinate with the county manager some conversations with that committee to kind of help the rest of us understand you guys can do as all our committees do, public safety or finance or wherever, dig deeper and kind of understand that for the rest of us. That will be really helpful. It's too important a project to not be fully in tune with, and I'm sure we all will be. Okay, so great. I want to give a quick commercial on that. So thank you, Freeholder Muded. All right, so we are going to be moving on to Freeholder sponsored resolutions. Freeholder, do you have a question before, or you have it on this? No? All right. Is there anything on our resolutions that anybody would like to comment on? Freeholder Williams.
I would just like to be added to number 2, please.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to be added to number 2 as well.
Terrific. Great. Maybe that could come from those 3 freeholders and the rest of the board too. That would be great, of course. Yep, Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes, I'm fine with just being included as the rest of the board on that, on number 2.
Okay, Freeholder Granados.
Although, sorry about that. It was the same thing in reference to.
Okay, yeah, I think we're all good with that. Okay, perfect. Okay, I think we are good at this point. I don't see any. Oh, Freeholder Hudak, do you have something? Yeah, go ahead.
Just a process question. I thought maybe at the last meeting we talked about maybe doing of the laudatory resolutions from the primary sponsor and from the entire board. Just to save a little time, because it seems that most of these are things that everyone will get behind, and we include everyone in them.
That's what I like that as well. Yes. So Jimmy, moving forward, let's take that into consideration.
Yes, Chairman, at your request, I did reach out to, I believe, not all of the freeholders, but most of the freeholders about that, option. And I just didn't get an opportunity to speak to you as far as moving forward. But yes, we can make it certainly from the entire board.
Okay. Good. Freeholder Williams, I see your hand is up. Is it, you have a comment?
Sorry, I meant to lower it.
No problem. Okay, good. All right, very good. I think we're all set with that. We will, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams, second by Freeholder Kowalski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I think we're gonna roll right into the regular meeting. Is that correct? Are you set to do that?
That is fine, Chairman. We can do that.
Okay. All right, Robert, can you recalibrate us for the next meeting? And we will either go right into it or you let
We're
me.
all set. We're all set, Chairman.
All right, very good. All right, so I will call this meeting to order of the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, August 13th, 2020, regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Here.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staton,
Here.
Freeholder Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Present.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 9 freeholders present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and while we're starting our cameras up and our video, Mr. Clerk, please read the statement of compliance with the Public Meetings Act.
The Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and who moved it?
It was Freeholder Garrettson.
Freeholder Garrettson, and I think Freeholder Kowalski seconded. So I will.
Freeholder Williams got there before me.
Okay, you're right. You're together on the screen, so I can. All right, so we'll give it to Freeholder Williams then. Very generous of you, Freeholder.
Thank you.
And Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative for the communication.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 4th agenda and regular meeting, June 18th agenda and regular meeting, July 9th special meeting, and the agenda and regular meeting of July 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Freeholder Williams has moved it and Freeholder Kowalski has seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Excuse me, Chair, I had my hand raised. I think you missed me. I need to abstain.
I'm sorry.
From June 18th, agenda set meeting and regular meeting, please.
Okay, sorry for missing that Freeholder statement.
That's okay.
I think everybody else was at the other meeting. All right, very good. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll with that.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
At all.
Freeholder Hudak,
At all.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad?
Aye to all.
Freeholder Staton? As you indicated, aye to all, with the exception of the June 18th meeting.
Correct. Thank you.
Williams? Freeholder Williams?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Estrada?
Aye to all.
And Chairman Mirabella?
Aye to all.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative on the minutes, with the exception of the June 18th, 2020 agenda and regular minutes, where you have 8 votes in the affirmative and 1 abstention.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Tonight we have an ordinance for first reading. Clerk of the board, please read the ordinance by title.
Yes, Chairman. Ordinance number 817-2020, capital ordinance of the County of Union, New Jersey, authorizing the demolition of the existing county parking deck on Elizabethtown Plaza and the construction of a new parking deck on such site in, by, and for the county, appropriating therefore the sum of $13,500,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from capital surplus of the county.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'll call on Freeholder Granados to move this ordinance.
Thank you, Chairman. I move ordinance number 817-2020 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise the same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on September 3rd, 2020.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative on ordinance number 817-2020.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion now to suspend the rules to allow for the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and the public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Union County into one public comment session.
So move.
Moved by Freeholder Williams, seconded by Freeholder Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative for the suspension of the rules.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The meeting is now open to the public for anyone to wish to speak on resolutions being offered for adoption or any other matter. We're going to start with opening up I think there's one comment that was mailed in. Is that emailed in, Mr. Clerk? Do you want to read that first, and then we'll open it up to the other person who registered for the meeting to ask their questions live?
Yes, Chairman. I received one email from a Judith Martinez of Scotch Plains, New Jersey, and her email is as follows. I am a concerned and totally against the board's approval to have Black Lives Matter painted anywhere in Union County. As a taxpayer, I am appalled as to what Black Lives Matter stands for. If you research it, look it up, you will see it is a Marxist organization, not an organization concerned with the lives of Black people. I am against the slogan which stands for the Marxist group Black Lives Matter, and as a taxpayer, urge the freeholders to reconsider the decision to have murals painted in Union County. Sincerely, Judith Martinez, Scotch Plains.
All right, so I appreciate the author's opinion. I disagree wholeheartedly, but she certainly has that right to give that statement, and we'll accept it for what it's worth. Just to make the note that I don't agree that this group is any kind of association with the Marxist regime. Okay, so we'll move on to opening up the meeting because I believe the person who registered can ask their questions of the board, and we'll go through that way.
Very well, Chairman. I did receive something from Bruce Patterson, but seeing that he is online, if Mr. Patterson can now attend the meeting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. On page 3, Resolution 584, $236,000 is a lot of money going to the Gateway Y for emergency shelter. The question is, which Y location are we talking about? And please explain the breakdown of spending of the $236,000. And what is their administration fee that they're taking? On page 3 and 4, it's a resolution 585 and 590. And these are two resolutions for Family Promise in Summit, one for a 25% increase change order and one for an 18% increase change order. And both resos total $315,000. Number 585 actually was explained, so thank you very much. So for 590, I'd like to know what the money is now being used for. That was $190,000. Let's see, resolution on page 4, number 588. We're looking at change orders to Groundwork Elizabeth for a total of all extensions. I believe from 2017, it totals $250,000 just to administer green grants. Although this could easily have been administered by Union County itself, since you have 2,600 plus employees, or even Rutgers Cooperative. Question is, how much has gone to the residents through the grants, and then how much has been funneled into Groundwork Elizabeth for their administration fees? On page 5 and 6, resolutions 600, 607, and 608. These resolutions are expenditures of the Federal CARES Act monies, and just these three total $10.6 million. My question is there a ledger right now detailing all the CARES Act expenditures and money coming in to who and for what? Because I would like to Oprah that. Page 5, Reso 601. This is a $500,000 grant to Elmwood Square for building affordable units in Plainfield. I do appreciate Director Wagner's explanation that there's 58 units involved. Since you're spending the 21 towns' tax monies, I would like you guys to push Fair Share Housing Center to back down on forcing so much AH obligations on the other county towns. Developers are building 4 to 5 times luxury rate residential units for each affordable unit, creating huge overdevelopments. And I'm sure you see this when you drive around. This action would at least save around 250 extra luxury units having to be built. Page 6, Resolution 602. This is spending $280,000 to help low income to purchase affordable housing. And I appreciate, again, Director Wagner's explanation. And New Jersey is definitely in need of affordable housing, no doubt about that. However, you missed the point that affordable housing is being built and it's already affordable. I don't see any reason why you need to be funneling money to the people to purchase and occupy these affordable units that are already affordable. It seems to be a slap in the face of the county taxpayers that are funneling the money to these people and also having to accept all these huge high-density projects. I think you should vote no on this. Page 6, Resolution 605. It's nice, $100,000 and 50,000 chunks of Federal CARES Act monies being funneled to an ex-New Jersey Governor Florio's legal firm for special legal services. Mr. Oatman did explain what it is, but my question is, well, what's so special that our new $175,000 a year county council Bergen and his staff can't do? Last one, actually, it's a new one. Reso 609. That's the Cadillac dealership on Grand Street you guys are referring to. Guzzo did have a property study on that maybe about 5 years ago. But, I heard something like $130 million or $120 million in cost savings. And that's only half the picture because you're talking about bond costs and the principal and the interest is going to eat all that up. I'm only guessing building costs are going to be about $60 million, interest at $30 million. I mean, you're talking about $100 million anyway. So you're really not seeing anywhere near that dollar amount savings. And I don't want to hear anybody say that we're saving $130 million on this process. So please keep that down. So thank you very much. And I have no general comments, or maybe I do if I have time. You guys actually have a lot of county people in some center calling about the census. My question is, why didn't you hire people that are out of work from the private sector instead of taken from the public sector? I mean, the private sector is in dire need of jobs, and you should have done that, but I guess you just wanted to dip back into the public sector. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Patterson, thank you. I will close that portion of the meeting, and we'll go on to answer some of these questions if we can. 584, I believe, was Director Anderson. If you can take a look at that and answer any thoughts on that.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Sorry, I'm having camera issues. So the Gateway Y is not receiving any administrative costs. So Gateway Y is one of 2 shelters in Union County working with our homeless population. This $236,000 is for cleaning, sanitation, and sterilization for the shelter facility to keep them open. Shelters are deemed essential services. This is a FEMA reimbursement, reimbursable expense. So, and it's very important to keep that shelter open. So that's why I'm asking for approval of this.
Okay, great. And Director, while we have you, I think there was a question on 590 as well, Family Promise.
So the 590, the increase to the Family Promise is through the Homeless Trust Fund. And this is to deliver, again, programs for the homeless and imminent homeless population and case management, working with persons 250% of the poverty guidelines. And again, we've had additional dollars through the filings from the county clerk, because that's how the fund is established. The committee meets and they deem that because there's a rise due to COVID for the homeless population, they would give more money to this. And that's where the additional $31,000. These nonprofit organizations across the board is about a 5% administrative cost and no more.
Okay, Director Anderson, thank you. Very thorough answer as usual. Let's move to the Groundworks. Elizabeth, I see the tremendous benefit this organization brings to all the myriad of garden grants, particularly their latest charge has been helping with, different gardens in schools and in municipalities. I've seen the benefits from the school children. I wonder if Administrator Vicki Durbin Drake is on the line and she wants to add any flavor to that, but I certainly see it as a necessary partner that we have that does a terrific job.
Thank you, Chairman, and through you, to specifically address the question of their administrative fee. It's a 20% administrative fee. It's important to note, however, that the $106,000 allotted for 2020, the pandemic interrupted that grant. So while the funding is there, it's uncertain as to whether we can move forward and in what manner we can move forward. If schools are not in session, we will not be building gardens in the schools. So the $106,000 for 2020 is allotted but not spent.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. I know, Freeholder Granados was instrumental in creating this program, and they've been terrific partners from day one, and they continue to be.
Chairman, can I add a couple comments into?
Please.
Just in reference that to what Mr. Patterson's saying, it's more than just administrating the 2 grants. What they're actually doing is providing all the supplies and all the material that goes into creating these gardens across the school districts, across different senior buildings, et cetera, around the county. So it's more than just providing, looking at grants. They're actually providing the material. They're actually providing the workers also who come out and build these gardens across the school districts that not only benefit the schools, but also 30% of those produce goes back to local shelters and food pantries to help out those in need. So it's more than just administration. It's actually providing the full caveat of the garden build. Thank you, Chairman.
But no, thank you for adding that. And thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
We'll go, County Manager, do you want to handle the CARES dollars, question 600, 607, 608? And you might as well discuss the attorney. And you made the explanation. I thought very well up front with how we need to use that firm so that we don't either overspend or spend incorrectly. But can you touch on those things, please?
Sure, Chairman. I try to get to all the points. For the census calls, we are repurposing existing county staff. So I'm not exactly sure of Mr. Patterson's question, but it was something we were able to do during COVID when people were working remotely and also having to space people out. So we're trying to efficiently use our employees as best possible way, taking advantage or with the current circumstances going on in the world. For 609, this will save the county about $120 million over 30 years. We had a financial analysis done that took into effect the construction costs and things like that versus how much we pay in lease and rent payments every year. And that's where that number derived from. So that is including all the building that goes on. As for the legal question, the rate is what we pay our existing attorneys for any outside counsel work. Also, the scope of the work has increased because we are taking on many more projects, such as small business grant program. We have something on the agenda for schools today, and we will keep, advancing programs as the year goes on. So the scope of work has increased throughout the life of this contract. And off the top of my head, that's about 0.1% we're spending on the CARES money for outside counsel to make sure we're not, we are up to par with the government standards. And I think I touched on everything. If I missed anything, I apologize.
Okay, and I think the last thing, something for the deputy county manager, if there's anything there that you want to speak on, I believe it was 601 or 602. Is there anything you want to add for that, Amy?
Yeah, I would just like to add that two things. With regards to the fair share housing, that we have zero jurisdiction over that. We don't have any input into that. And if Mr. Patterson takes issue with that, he really should bring it up with his municipality or the state of New Jersey, who actually control those agreements. We are no part of that whatsoever. And two, the question about 602, Habitat for Humanity is actually a very highly regarded program where potential owners actually have a vested interest in what happens in their property. They are not just handed money. They are actually physically working to build the units they're in. So I think it's very incorrect and pretty unfair to the folks that participate in that program to suggest that they are just handed money, because that really is not the case with this program at all.
Okay, very good. Excellent. And Jimmy, I think that exhausts our list of people who signed up and sent in any comments. Is that correct?
Chairman, you are correct. There are no other commenters from the public in the queue, nor did they send any emails.
All right, very good. So I'll close that portion of the meeting, and I'll ask for a motion to approve resolutions 2020-573 to 2020-614.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Granados and seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative for all resolutions.
All right, very good. We will move on to Freeholder comments and reports. And I'm going to start just in the order that I have them on the screen, and that was with Freeholder Muedad.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to remind people in my hometown of Westfield that there will be a mobile COVID testing unit here in town on 8/20. That's next Thursday at Tamaqua Park, and you can register at ucnj.org/walkup. So please be sure, if you feel like you need to be tested, it's important to get tested, so please do so. I'd also like to just acknowledge Union County and how proud I am to be part of the county. Even way before COVID, I think we've been leaders on so many fronts, having the first office of LGBTQ under our belt. We were the first county to open a COVID testing center. I think we may be one of the first counties to be supporting, maybe not, I'm proud that we're supporting the Black Lives Matter murals in Hillside and Roselle, and maybe we're one of the first. I hope we are. But I just think that we're such a open and diverse community, and one to be really proud of. And I'm also proud of how we have been handling the federal CARES funding, because I believe that we have looked at the various people who are affected by this pandemic, including the schools and our libraries, our small businesses, and I'm really proud that we are able to offer that funding to those various entities, and I think it makes us a stronger community for it. So with that, good luck to all the parents making the decisions on whether their children will be doing hybrid or virtual. I know for my own family, this has been an ongoing question and struggle, and I'm with all of you on every front. I know it's not easy for any of us, and everyone has to make the right decision for their own families. So with that, I'm closing my comments.
Thank you, Freeholder Bouded. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to thank all the county staff who stepped up during last week's power outage. Our admin building was out for a while, and there were buildings, thousands of residents lost power for 1 to 5 days, and it was a real challenge for many people around the county, but our county public safety and public works staffs got to work right away and helped clear roads and keep people safe. So, of course, our county manager and deputy county manager directed a lot of the team. So thanks to all of you. I also want to, we mentioned it in the resolution, but I'd like to mention my condolences to the family of Pat Scanlon, husband of our former colleague, Debbie Scanlon, 5-term freeholder, a great public servant, and her husband was a great Irish American and a great citizen of Union County, a gentleman who will be very much missed. So condolences to them. Thanks to Senator Nick Scutari for his efforts recently to get funding for a flood control project or study throughout the Rahway River Valley. He's put forward legislation in the Senate. I hope it will proceed and get some money and get moving on this long-standing issue in the Rahway River Valley. And I'll also add to Freeholder Palmieri Mouded's wishes to all the families with children who are going back to school. It's a big challenge, and we've never faced anything like this. So I just want to offer you my best wishes and hope that everybody can get outside and get a little fresh air before the summer is over. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Williams.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a couple of things. I join everyone in offering condolences to the Scanlon family, and I also offer further condolences to the family of Senator Rice. And just finally, I again want to applaud the county for the tremendous work that they're doing with all of the testing at the different mobile sites. They were at the Mount Olive Baptist Church site for approximately 2.5 hours and got about, I think the public safety director said about 130 people tested. I think they actually ran out of tests. So that's tremendous. And that area of Plainfield is, moving towards the far end of Plainfield in our 4th ward. So I'm very pleased to see that, and we're looking forward to having them back. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Freeholder Williams. And you might remember that I give a lot of credit for the whole idea of getting out into the community to do this testing to Mayor Mapp, who approached you and I, and through us to the county manager about, there are many residents who don't drive or don't have public transportation. And I think that was a real good catalyst for us to develop this. And I give all the credit to our county manager and deputy county manager and Director Moran for finding a way to do that. That seems to be very, very effective. And I was really happy to hear, and I'm sure all of you were, that we're going to try to get this in all our towns in Union County. For there are people around the entire county that don't have the opportunity to get to Kane University. And so good credit for everybody. It's a good team effort in this county, and certainly Mayor Mapp deserves a lot of credit for pushing us to make that happen. So thank you for bringing that up too. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to echo many of the sentiments that everyone shared about the passing of the a family, as well as Shirley Rice. So I wanted to just extend my condolences again, and just our thoughts and prayers are with them. I also wanted to acknowledge that today the governor put out an executive order for education. So from schools to also higher education, just schools, if they are ready to go back, they'll be able to, but if not, then they will be on remote. So if you have not seen that executive order, I do encourage everyone to read through it, because it does make it a game changer for so many communities to allow, if the schools are not ready for them, to have that executive order to lean on. I also wanted to thank all of the freeholders. You have really stepped out there and stepped on faith on so many issues. I was driving around not too long ago, and I looked at so much diversity that we have in our county, and that we truly lead the way on so many issues, and we allow our communities to embrace cultures, ethnicities, but also not just the history that we may read in the book and think we know, but when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not talking about an organization solo. We're talking about all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. So when we hear that, that means that you probably should read a book so you can expand your knowledge to understand that this movement is very much like the civil rights movement. And there was not just one organization that represented civil rights. So there were a number of organizations. In this time in our lives, there are Black Lives Matter movement organizers, but there's also numerous other advocates, educators, and so many elected officials and just everyday regular people who are coming together to support this time. I also want to thank my colleagues, because tonight we also did something very historic in that the red, black, and green flag that so many organizations embrace all around this nation internationally, that is a symbol for Black communities and Black pride and Black freedom, that we are celebrating the 100th anniversary. That flag has been adopted by so many organizations in our own county, has been able to raise that flag along with so many other cultural flags throughout the year. So I'm very proud that we are able to acknowledge and recognize that today, but also be able to celebrate our differences and our similarities and try to do a deeper understanding and a deep dive. So thank you, God bless, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there. And most importantly, as freeholders, we are here so that we can hear the concerns of our communities, but also be able to educate our community so that we put us all in a better position so that we can all live together in harmony and peacefully. So have a good night. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Garrettson. Well said. We'll go to Freeholder Staton.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll be brief. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. I'll just piggyback off of my freeholder colleagues. I'd like to begin with also extending my deepest condolences to Senator Ron Rice on the passing of his lovely wife, Miss Shirley Rice. She was a wonderful person, an educator in Essex County, and she will be greatly missed. I also like to just personally thank the Freeholder Board for their support of the Black Lives Matter mural in Roselle. I would be remiss if I didn't say I have a few residents that are upset, but the majority of the residents are pleased, and I have received a lot of positive feedback from the community. So thank you again, and to Director Graziano and his team for getting the mural down quickly and neatly, and I just greatly appreciate it. I'm also pleased to announce that Roselle has a new mayor, Mayor Reginald Atkins. The Freeholder Board welcomes you, and we wish you well in your new position. You're no stranger to Roselle, as he served as the councilman at large in Roselle, and we are looking forward to his continued leadership. I'd like to remind residents who are in need of food, if you missed the food distribution today, there is another one scheduled for Thursday, August 27th at 9 a.m. at King University. The goal is not to have any family in Union County go hungry during this pandemic. So please don't be ashamed, take advantage of these programs. And, it's healthy food, produce, canned goods, everything to help you during tough times with your family. So I just like to remind everyone to stay safe. And my heart goes out to all the parents, for the school choices as expressed by my colleagues that also have children. It is really, really a tough decision. So we just have to stay positive to help keep our children to stay positive. So that wraps up my comments, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Freeholder Staten. Nice work with your comments. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a few comments this evening. I wanted to, again, thank my colleagues for supporting both the $500,000 grant for our local libraries, which is going to be funded through the CARES Act. And specifically, this will assist Union County libraries covering the costs that could not or have been accounted for, but for the COVID-19 emergency. So a lot of our libraries, which are truly community centers in Union County, depend on support that the county has provided in the past. But this is an opportunity that will allow them to open those facilities to the public and cover those expenses that make that.
We still have to hear BJ Al.
Oh, Vicky. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, sorry about that. But it will make those facilities so much easier to access for our residents, and additionally, seeing the funding in place for the Kids Dig In and the garden grants, part of the UC Plant a Seed grant. Good to see that the opportunity for the funding for those programs to continue, and that was as the chairman pointed out, an initiative of Freeholder Granados, and a very good program. And I know many of us parents are anxious about what the future holds with the schools, but we want to make sure that all these programs are in place if and when we can get the kids back into the classroom. I'm very excited about the memorandum of understanding with the Union County Improvement Authority relative to the Union County government complex. This is a project, and this has been a long time coming, as Mr. Patterson noted. That started with a space utilization study and has been studied fairly intensively by the county over the years, and will be a substantial savings. But additionally, it's also going to create hundreds of jobs for the men and women in the construction trades, and I think we have to acknowledge the fact that this downturn is not something that's going to disappear overnight, and trying to create those opportunities in government projects is a good idea. So I think ultimately this will be a win-win, in that the county is going to get a better complex for the government, for citizens to access services. We will get out of some costly leases, and we're going to put a good number of people to work. And I think that's a fantastic combination. Lastly, just I heard a few comments tonight, from Mr. Patterson, just kind of denigrating affordable housing, and he threaded, which I heard, from the President of the United States, a dog whistle about that. I'm sort of disheartened about, the comments he made also about the census, and that is a very important process. Another process, incidentally, being undermined by the President of the United States. I also want to draw to the attention of Union County residents the defunding and the interference with the U.S. Postal Service. Tomorrow, I believe I saw a story this evening that Governor Murphy is likely to announce that the fall will be a mostly vote by mail election. And now more than ever, with so many individuals homebound due to COVID-19, we need to have a fully functioning post office, and that service and the integrity of that service is being undermined every day. And I think all residents need to appreciate the important role of the U.S. Postal Service plays in their lives. It's nice to kick the Postal Service and say how inefficient it is, but I don't think necessarily people appreciate the service that it provides to your daily life. For example, UPS delivers annually last year 5.5 billion packages. FedEx did 2.28 billion packages. The U.S. Postal Service, staffed by people in this community, delivered 154 billion packages and letters last year. There is no private entity that does what it does. And there's a lot of politics about vote by mail. I think we had a very successful vote by mail election in New Jersey, and I think the integrity of it is unquestioned, because where we had issues with people, violating the rules of the election, law enforcement became aware of it, which is the point. If someone's violating the law, the vote by mail violations were more attributable to those individuals, and then they can face the consequences if they in fact did that. But beyond vote by mail ballots, so many Union County residents depend on getting their prescriptions through the mail. So many homebound residents depend on getting supplies through the mail, and this is a big issue, and I think it's something that's going to continue to be an issue because Congress has not properly funding it. So it's an issue that I think this board and all the residents should be wary of, because again, 154 billion packages traveled around this country by the post office. And if we shut down that pipeline, it's going to be a very scary thing. And lastly, just would also like to offer my condolences to the family of Pat Scanlon, our former colleague, Debbie Scanlon, on the loss of her husband. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Just want to make mention, I know Freeholder Garrison thanked our Freeholder colleagues, but I know we all believe together that we also thank our directors, employees who, bring to fruition our initiatives and our ideas that this Freeholder board has, and every single one of our Freeholders continue to bring great ideas that benefit our residents here in Union County. So I just want to thank our directors, county manager, deputy county manager, and our employees who continue to go day in, day out, and not only providing services, but finding new ways to provide services during COVID. Let it be through Zoom programming, let it be through additional services being provided to help out residents who are facing psychological issues. We continue to be at the forefront, this Freeholder board and this county administration, in providing new services to help our residents. Also want to give a shout out to all the volunteers that continue to help out our food distribution program every single time we have one, including next one we have in August. And just also today we took a poll on best dressed, and that was our county manager, Ed Oatman, who had a Mets shirt on. So we definitely want to give him a shout out for that, for definitely being best dressed today at our food distribution program. And just in closing, I want to give a shout out to Tony and Teo, who I know are watching our Freeholder meeting today, who are sending me pictures. So definitely a big shout out to them and saying hi. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chairman.
Very nice, Freeholder. Thank you. Vice Chairman Estrada.
Well, first of all, I'd like to send my condolences to Debbie
Scanlon for the loss of her husband, Pat, who was somebody that we have known over so many years as a dedicated public servant, as well as Debbie, who was our chair, vice chair, who was a freeholder with us for numerous years. There's no doubt when you have a loss of a family member, it's always a great impact, not only for Debbie, but to the remainder of the family, because this is a really tight knit family that we've known for years. So our condolences go out to you, Deb. I'm glad Tony and Teo are listening. I didn't know that we had followers in that level. Congratulations, guys. It's interesting, but the pandemic has not ended. I think that is so critical that if we work hard at it now, we will not feel the brunt that will be coming. As we have seen throughout the country, there has been sparks of increases. Some of them have been able, through actions and commitments of the residents, being able to bring down. But in New Jersey, which we have become a model for the country, we above all have gotten this far because of the commitment of our residents. And there isn't words to describe and to thank individuals who have gone way out of their way to ensure that we keep this down. Earlier, our chair was speaking about the importance of having people answer the calls that are coming from the tracers. And it's so critical because, unfortunately, in New Jersey, we have experience of 45% of people not willing to share or respond to those calls. That is really unbelievable that people would actually stoop to do things like that. This is serious. This is taking the lives of many of our colleagues in this state of New Jersey. And I think we need a commitment, a serious commitment from everyone, that we will continue in the same strength that we have been doing it before. And that pretty much completes my comments. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Vice Chairman. I have just a couple of comments, but my colleagues were so eloquent in a lot of their comments. I don't want to be so redundant, but I do want to follow up on one item concerning, and really a big shout out and a thank you that I want to give on behalf of this board is to Jess Cohen, who many of us know, who's been a fixture at the testing center at Kane University since the beginning. And she's helping out and organizing the mobile testing, which I think I saw a lot of heads nodding when we were talking about the value that brings and the value that she brings. And I appreciate, Senator Cryan, kind of having one of his key staff members on loan to this county. And, he's been a great partner from the very beginning of setting up our center as well. And, he certainly put his staff where his mouth was. And she's been a terrific partner of ours and a great help to this county. And I wanted to give her a special mention that she rightly deserves. So people mentioned Pat Scanlon's passing, and I was able to represent the board. I know other freeholders were able to get over to the wake and pay their respects, but people know that the deep friendship I had with the Scanlon family, with Pat, and obviously with Debbie, our former colleague, and many of us on this board served with Debbie, and Pat was always so supportive as a partner in life of Debbie's, and the fact that he served his community as a committee man and the mayor of Union, certainly was a terrific community advocate for Union, gave back to the community on behalf of the banks that he worked for. And obviously I wrote that I saw him as a legend in Union County, and particularly the Irish American community, one of the forefathers of the St. Patrick's Day parade. And I'll really miss him a lot. And he was always around, asking how he could help, what could he do for the community. And it was very sad. So I will miss Pat, my friend, and I just wish the best for the Scanlon family. I heard many of my colleagues talk about the parents making decisions, and I agree with all of that. I want to give credit to the superintendents and the Board of Education members who are making very, very difficult decisions, balancing safety and education back and forth. And as we all know, as freeholders on this board, and the information that we receive changes on a regular basis. I can only give our support to those superintendents and those Board of Education members who are doing the best they can, keeping up, as well as the parents making the best decisions to keep their students and their children safe and educated. And thank goodness my kids are older, because I don't know if I could homeschool them. So I know Kim has been our champion in that respect. And I wish her continued success and luck with that. One last thing I want to mention, and I appreciate everybody's comments to this point. And Freeholder Kowalski and I were able to attend the parade of the Cranford baseball team. We had a resolution honoring that team today, and their coach, Coach Dennis McCaffrey. The Cranford, and maybe the freeholders read the resolution, maybe they read in the paper or saw some of the news items. Cranford won a baseball championship that did a lot of things. First of all, it gave the high school seniors a chance to play with their teams one last time. And 220 teams formed around the state to have one giant statewide tournament. And I thought it was great just to give them an opportunity to play with their team. Kind of the seniors, the baseball, all the sports, not just baseball, all the spring sports, didn't have a chance. Their senior year didn't have a chance to have any kind of season. So I feel bad for those seniors. But the baseball team did get a chance to pull together, and Cranford won 8 straight games against some of the top teams in the state of New Jersey, and the games that they won weren't even close. I mean, they won the championship game 10-2, and they beat teams like St. Peter. I don't know if it was St. Peter's, but Bergen Catholic and Paramus Catholic, and some of the top teams in the state of New Jersey that are essentially all-star teams.
Yeah.
Okay, Freeholder Staten, we have a good commentary from you. I mean, maybe you want to speak about the Cranford team as well. But they are really, they won the championship after all that. And Coach McCaffrey's been a friend of mine. I said when we were speaking, Freeholder Kowalski and I at the parade end of it, I said I've been friends with him for 40 years, which seems unbelievable. 45 years, unbelievable for me to say that I have known people that long, but I guess I have. But he did a great job pulling that team together and winning that championship. So I don't want that to go unnoticed. I mean, we could pass a resolution, but that was quite a not only an athletic achievement, but I think it pulled the communities together, gave them something to root for, and some semblance of order in this crazy world. So great job to Coach McCaffrey and the Cranford baseball team. All right. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I see Freeholder Hudak has motioned. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Freeholder Mudet seconded. And if you can call the roll, Mr. Clerk, we'll end our meeting.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudet.
Aye.
Freeholder Staten. Freeholder Williams.
Aye.